Welcome to another Panthers Pretend Draft. We are almost done with this exercise on This Team is Killing Us. My name is Demetri. Do me a favor, like, subscribe to the video, leave a comment, help more people find our Carolina Panthers stuff here at OG Triangle Media. And we get back to regular This Team is Killing Us shows next week after the draft. I do want to tell you, I've had a thought for Thursday's show. Rather than do a Panthers pretend draft, we are going to mock the entire first round and then come away from that trying to decide what we think it is the Panthers should do should things fall the way I expect them to in round one. That is coming on Thursday. For today, let's jump in to our mock draft. All right, as always on the Pro Football Network engine, and we are likely hanging out until pick 33, unless we see the opportunity to make a major addition here. So far, all of our guys are gone. Yep, and there goes Brian Thomas Jr. So here's something I've been thinking about as we do more of these and more of my top receivers for the Panthers go off the board is I wonder how eager the Panthers would be to trade up for an A.D. Mitchell or a Xavier Worthy. Just something to think about. Here with the Giants, I don't see enough to move back 14 spots off of my first pick, so we'll reject that one. Definitely not moving all the way into the third round. And with pick number 33, I am going to pounce on Keon Coleman here. The size is just too much to pass up. Obviously, he lost some attractiveness because of his poor 40 time, but I do think he is a weapon worth having, and we can get speed later. 39 for 81, that is a non-starter, and I'm not falling back to 56. I could get Jackson Powers Johnson here and solidify that center spot. Kingsley Suamataia is gone. That was the other position I was looking at. But what I'm going to do is go for Trey Benson. And now we have a guy capable of becoming a workhorse running back to go with a new big receiving target. With Deontay Johnson in, I don't know that speed is necessarily what you absolutely have to have. That's still where I lean. I'm just trying to do some different things here in our last draft of this sort. So as we go to pick 65, not going to move off all the way down to 86. That is one I would absolutely consider. 65 and 240 for 109. Excuse me, 65 and 240 for 74 and 109. Would they do it without 240? They would not. Let's see. So the obvious pick here, Cedric Van Pran Granger, appears to be gone. He appears to be off the board already, unless he has fallen down. Oh, down to 87. Okay, so we could trade back here. And I think that is what we are going to do. We're going to take a second look at that Falcons offer. And you know what? We will accept it as is, and we will trade back later to get another later pick. Sanistril and Chris Abrams Drain, that was another guy that I had considered as a possibility. Ooh, there went Van Pran Granger. Perhaps this backfired on us. I don't think so, though. Ricky Pearsall would be another solid wide receiver to add. Let's add the Georgia corner Kamari Lassiter. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. All right, Kamari Lassiter, part of that very talented Georgia secondary, and I am happy with that pick. It does add a solid defensive body to this draft. Obviously, edge is kind of what everybody is focused on for the Carolina Panthers, but there did not seem to be an edge right there that was worth taking. So we've got our wide receiver, we've got a running back, we've got a corner, And now we've got to look at fortifying the offensive line, and we will do that with Tanner Bortolini from Wisconsin. He is our center in round 4. And remember, we are picking again at 109. And with that pick, we can add our edge in Jalix Hunt. I am not super familiar with Hunt, but I just read a breakdown from whoever it is from Scouts Inc. that ESPN has replacing Todd McShay these days, that said, a lot of what Hunt is in terms of draft stock has to do with the fact that he was under the radar for so long, and there is just not as much tape that people are as familiar with, that everybody that looks at a game or two feels like he does have the tools. So I'm trusting that here. And now we come to pick 141. We've got our edge, we've got our center, we've got our wide receiver and corner. Do we go tight end? Do we go with another wide receiver? If the best at each position is Theo Johnson or Jacob Cowing, I'm going to go Cowing because we don't have that speed receiver yet. But remember, we have 141 and 142. So let's add Theo Johnson as well. He has been a pretty reliable pick for us, and our draft is now done at the end of round 5, unless we want to trade, a future pick to move back into the draft, which I don't see happening. So what did we do here? We added a big wide receiver in Keon Coleman, kind of a freaky, muscly athlete type, which is good because Jacob Cohen was waiting for us later on in the draft, and we did add that speed. Plus, you got to remember Johnson brings some speed to the receiving game as well. Really happy picking up Benson from Florida State at running back, because while I do like Chuba Hubbard, I don't think Chuba Hubbard is ever going to be capable of being that every down running back. So we have that now in Benson. We got the offensive line a little bit stronger with Tanner Bortolini, and then we added our tight end, and we addressed some defensive needs as well. And that does it for these types of Panthers Pretend Drafts. Remember, tomorrow we are going to mock the entire first round, and once that is done, I will sort of make my determination and my recommendation, I guess, on what it is I want to see the Panthers do with pick 33. Right now, all we can really do is just wait for this draft to end. I certainly appreciate all of you that have taken the time to watch these mock drafts. Remember, they are meaningless. Every mock draft is meaningless. Nobody is in the lead or losing ground when it comes to what the Panthers may do at 33 until the pick is actually made. And I don't rule out that the Panthers aren't going to make pick 33. That is something else that's going to be interesting to watch as we get to Friday, certainly Thursday as well, to see what kind of activity there would be in trading up. But as we put the wraps on today, let's take a look at what we did. Obviously, we only made the one trade, and that was with division rival Atlanta. They get up to get their corner. We get a corner a little bit later in the draft. I do have to say, I kind of regret this trade, although I do like what we came away with. If we weren't going to come away with a better edge or a better tackle there, we probably should have stayed put for Sandra Strill. But the draft is a gamble sometimes. So remember, like, subscribe, be sure and leave a comment. Tomorrow we mock the entire first round. Thanks so much for hanging out with me.